Hey guys, Glitch here with another episode of FTL Tips and Tricks. We're doing a little bit different this time. I'm going to do a post commentary, which is I'm going to be speaking over footage I've already recorded. And this footage mainly, well, entirely focuses around the Kestrel. It's your starting ship, and I thought this would be a good place to go for episode 2. So your Kestrel is going to start with an Artemis, which is a missile, and a burst laser. I think it's very important to have those fired on before you go into your first star system. That way your weapons will automatically charge up. You can also see that I moved power from the med bay and I put it into the engines. That'll give you a little bit more dodge, which is very important when you're kind of weak. You can always turn that med bay back on as your players need it. Now in this clip, what I'm doing is I'm focusing my Artemis on the weapon system. It's going to take their weapons right down had I hit, because the Artemis can penetrate the shields. Assuming they don't dodge your shot, it would be a direct hit every time. And so I thought that it would be a good idea to take their weapons down before I took their shields down with my lasers. Had I made that hit. Now, here you can see I'm switching it up. I'm doing the shields first so I can just get a clear shot at the weapons. So now in this clip, I have an enemy who's trying to get away. Their FTL is charging up. So with that penetration power, I'm going to use that Artemis to directly try and get their engines offline so they can't get away. With these kinds of ships, these kinds of encounters, they're actually going to go warn the rebel fleet, so it's really important you don't let them get away, which is why you can see that, yeah, I'm going about my usual tactic of taking down their weapons, taking down their shields, but I'm also keeping an eye on that engine, because if they power up that FTL, they get away, it's going to make your traveling the star system a lot more difficult. Now here I have an ion cannon. This is a very, very fast charging weapon, so it's really good to turn on your auto fire. What I do is I target the weapon system always with my ion. If there's any shield up, the ion cannon will hit that first. So you can see it's flashing blue right now. That means that it's temporarily disabled. The ion cannon will sort of do that little crippling, and if you have it, always focus on the weapons. After you take down that shield with that first shot, since it recharges so fast, you're going to be able to hit your weapons really quickly after. Sometimes even before you can hit that burst laser. So you're always going to be alternating between shutting down the weapons and shutting down the shield if you have that auto fire going on. And then after that, it's just cleanup work. I'm keeping those weapons down and attacking the ship regularly. Here you can see I've added a new member to my crew. He's an NG. I put him in the engine room. That way I can have someone specialized in each of the main areas of my ship. Here you can see I've got a new weapon, this pike beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the heavy ion to keep that weapon system down, and I'm going to use the pike beam to do my real damage. It drags across the ship, and for each room that you have it attacking, it's really important to maximize that, because each room is going to give you more damage. Now the benefit of having the NG so close in that engine room is I'm able to pull them off the engine and get them to help repair the weapons quicker, so I can get my pike beam back up. As you'll see later in this video, I start adding more and more crew members, and it's really important to have them spread out amongst your ship so you can dispatch them wherever possible. And if you have spare NGs sitting by, that's great, because they have a buff to their repair, so you can get any system online faster, especially if you have 1 or 2 NGs working on it. And you can see here, even with that one drag of the pike beam, I did tremendous damage because I was hitting 4 rooms, and it only took 2 shots with it to take down the scout. This is a similar clip, so I'm using the burst laser instead of the ion cannon, and this is because the ion cannon, it doesn't actually do damage, it just sort of cripples systems. So here I'm doing damage, and it's that quick 1-2 punch. I can hit the burst laser, I can hit the pike, and it's over. Now this is a similar clip. So basically each time your pike beam has to go through a shield, it's slightly weakened. So it's important here that I'm using the burst lasers on the shields. You can actually see that I'm not hitting the beam was charged, and I didn't click down until the shield was actually down, so I could get the full attack damage. And you'll see that again here in this clip, where I'm actually holding the mouse over. I'm hovering. I haven't yet clicked until I can see that the shield has gone down. I missed my opportunity there, but as soon as that burst laser is charged again, I'm going to be ready with that pike beam. I'm going to click down, 1, 2, and here's that click. So I spread it across the 4 rooms. I'm getting a little bit of a corner on that shield room. So I'm doing spread out damage. And you can see I actually targeted the O2 room because the enemy is going to prioritize that. They're going to repair their O2 so they can breathe to go heal the other places, or repair the other places in their ship. So I'm always going to keep a little bit of a focus on that O2 room to keep them off of things like their weapons and their shields. Here you can see I've actually gotten enough scrap to upgrade my weapon systems to the point where I can power 3 weapons. And so I chose to do the heavy ion, the burst laser, and a fire beam. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to focus the ion on the shields, or the weapons, and consequently the shields. I'm going to get that burst on the shield, and you can see I'm waiting with the fire beam. So what the fire beam does is it doesn't actually do direct damage to the ship or the systems. It lights small fires in the room. So any crew that is in that room, they're going to have to put out the fire before they can repair any damage. And they're also going to take damage, because fire hurts. So you can see right there, I just caught their med bay on fire to the point where it actually did end up taking down the system. And I believe either at the end of this clip or I have an extra clip where I actually kill all the crew members by fire. It's a really good way to, for some missions, you have to spare the ship, basically, so what you're doing is you're killing all of the crew but keeping the ship alive. Firebeam's a great way to do that. Also boarding, but in this video I don't show you any boarding techniques. Yeah, so I was able to take down the ship because everyone was either on fire or dealing with fires. And here's that little bonus clip where you can see I actually end up taking down a rock ship by burning them all out right here. Here they're trying to surrender. I never accept that surrender. So instead, I'm going to light that room on fire. And there's actually an achievement. If you can get a fire in every room on the ship, you can have an achievement for that. But sadly, I wasn't able to do it. I think you have to have something like 2 fire beams to do it. But that message right there, if you caught it, said there's no life signs because I lit them all on fire. Here we have a cloaked ship. Basically, while they're cloaked, I can't fire because I don't know they're there. So you can either prioritize the cloak as a target, or you can shoot elsewhere. You can see I decided to get my ion on the weapons because I'm afraid of that missile shooting off at me. But I also kept my burst on their cloak, but fired it off just in time to avoid my shots. You can see that I thought about doing the fire beam, but the thing with these scouts is since they don't have an O2 room, they have no way of me creating fire. Any fire that I set will instantly be put out by the lack of oxygen because, fire needs oxygen to exist. So I just keep the ion and the burst lasers going. I switch over to the piloting system because they're dodging a lot of my shots. So if you take down either the piloting or the engines, you can get through all those missed shots. Here I wanted to give a quick review over the ship that I built. This is right before going off into the boss battle. And, face value, this looks like a pretty good ship. I got some decent weapons. I've got a full crew. I actually went to the point of, for the 2 rooms that I had full training on in the engine room, 3 rooms, the engine room, the weapons room, and the piloting, I started cross-training people in case someone died. Sadly, I did not beat the boss. In either case, I want to thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate your views. I hope you like these tips and tricks. Next, we're going to be tackling the NG ship, and I think that with this series, you'll probably end up seeing a video once every 2 weeks, just because it takes a little time to get some good footage and to figure out what I'm going to say for each of the pieces of footage. But in either case, it looks like you guys are enjoying the tips and tricks so far, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Leave me a like or a comment if you want to see something different, or if you liked it, and catch you in the next one.